Anyways, get to it.
Here we are. We're
back.
We're back
for another beautiful, exciting episode.
That sounded like sarcasm.
Did it?
Yeah.
I was being serious. It's another beautiful.
I don't know what's going on with my girlfriend tonight. I think she thinks that
I'm horny.
All right.
And I need sexy time.
Can we tell them before we get into the episode? Can we tell them why we haven't had sexy time in like?
Oh, you want to tell them about your vagine problem?
In like a week.
Like the fact that you're so open about your vagine is insane.
First of all, our audience is mainly women. This is a normal occurrence in women. I mean, it wasn't for me up until 34 years old, but still, it happens. This happens with women get yeast infections, and I had one.
Tell them how you got it. Tell them.
Tell
them her name.
Yeah, okay. Her name is Jaylon.
Get the fuck out of here. Okay, tell the real story before people think that I gave you a yeast infection.
First of all, you can't exchange yeast infections. If that were the case, you would have gotten it. Because we had sex very much so when I had my yeast infection.
All right, baby, go ahead. Tell them how you really got it.
So I had a yeast infection in my belly button from a water slide at my niece's birthday.
I just don't know how that's possible. Like, did you already have a cut in there? Like, how does it get in there? It
wasn't a cut, baby. I didn't... Fungus lives... A yeast infection is a fungal infection. Fungus lives in wet or damp, dark areas, like your belly button, right? Mm-hmm. So I go down this water slide with wet clothing on, and it's
and you stayed in them,
and it's hot, and I never changed out of them. Mm-hmm. And I guess I don't know if the water slide had people's fucking. I mean, it did. It had people's feet who's fucking running around in this water. Yes, nobody else got it, but maybe I'm just more sensitive. I don't fucking know, but I got a yeast infection in my belly button. And I'm guessing that either when I was drying myself with a towel, I would assume drying myself with a towel.
I think it was when you wiped your vagine.
Why?
Because you were playing a lot with your belly button, babe.
I was like,
because you were checking it out,
putting the ointment on it.
Right, but yeah, right, the ointment, and you kept checking it out and wiping it. So your hands were constantly touching it. And then when you went to use the bathroom to urine or whatever you're doing, you wiping yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more when I was towel drying myself. That makes sense. You get out of the shower, you dry your whole body, you dry your vagine.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
And then So we've been in this little thing. She's got a yeast infection because of their goddamn stomach. And then I'm over here. I got my period. It's just not a fun week.
But I've never had a yeast infection before in my 34 years on this planet. And
that's how you got it, from your belly button.
Yeah. Right. Because I don't get penetrated. But if y'all haven't heard the story, if you weren't on our TikTok live stream the other night, we were telling the story about how Jaylon had me convinced for at least 48 hours that my yeast infection was a mosquito bite on my vulva.
Okay, first of all, we were outside and there was tons of mosquitoes, and she had a little bump on her vagine. And I was like, is it right here? And she's like, yes. And I'm touching it.
She touched it.
And you were agreeing. So I was like, yeah, it looks like a little bump right here. It looks like...
She's like, oh, it's definitely a mosquito bite. No, not even.
But then I started thinking, like, you wear boxers. I'm like, how the hell did that mosquito crawl its way in there? And when I was in a straight up dress.
Right, and you didn't get a mosquito bite.
No.
That's because it wasn't. It was a fucking yeast infection. And you touched it. And that's how I know I'm going to marry you. Because you touched it and you still love me.
Yeah, of course I do.
Pound it.
Pound that mic.
So that is why my girlfriend right now is extreme. And now, mind you, she's like hot and heavy right now.
Mm-hmm.
And how long has it been? Not even 5 days.
Yeah, but that's so long for us.
It is long for us. It's been about 4 days.
TMI, sorry to you guys who don't care about
right?
this.
It's been about 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And she's literally...
I hate this. I hate the feeling.
She's going crazy.
So tonight, I don't care. I'm getting it in. We're figuring it the fuck out. All right.
Anyway.
Let's get to the topic of why we're here tonight.
Okay. So we're talking about toxic relationships.
Mm-hmm.
The allure and appeal of them.
Yeah.
But also the dangers.
Ooh, yes.
And so first and foremost, what makes a toxic relationship toxic?
Manipulation at its finest.
Okay.
Communication depending on how you're communicating. Control, jealousy.
A lot of like anger, aggression,
Yeah.
because
it all could be, even if they're not physically abusive, it could be also mentally, emotionally, you know.
Yeah.
And don't statistics show that mental abuse is worse than physical?
I wouldn't be able to speak on that.
I want to find that out. I was told that. I've heard of that. Not that I was told. I've heard of that.
I think there's just there's different traumas for each, you know? Like, yeah. I think because if you're being beaten up bad by a person that you're with, that's definitely going to stick with you.
Right. That's what I thought, right? Like, you think of it that way. Like, that even though those bruises go away, that memory of that situation will always stick with you.
Yeah. I mean,
but I was told that when it's emotional abuse,
yeah,
the words stick with you a lot more. Like, but I don't know how that works, because that's what I swear I've read on that they say, not that physical abuse is like, who cares? No. Physical abuse is fucking horrible. But verbal abuse is 10 times worse. But again, I guess that's to each his own, right?
I was going to say I wouldn't compare, because could you look at a person who's been, now we're getting into abuse, but could you look at a person who's had that happen to them and be like, oh, well, your issue is not.
Oh, never. Oh my God. Abuse is abuse.
Right.
So whether it was physical or verbal, it's abuse.
Right. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't think you can really sit here and say like one is worse than the other.
I'm not saying that though.
No, I'm not saying you are.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying,
because I don't want people to think like I'm over here saying that.
No, I just
pick and choose which one's worse.
Yeah, no, I don't know if there would literally be any ethical studies that would be like, yeah.
Well, I want to research it then, because
I think yeah.
I swear, baby, I think I swear I read that somewhere. I heard it somewhere, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
I think whether verbal and emotional or physical, first of all, a lot of times they're coupled, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the times they go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. But if you're if you've only experienced one, I think your brain chemistry still fucking changes. Like my past relationship did get physical at times as well. Like,
yeah,
you know, but more so than ever, what broke me down was the verbal manipulation, the yelling, the constant degradation, and like beating you down sort of thing.
Yeah,
that it has been what stuck with me. Yeah, absolutely. But I would imagine that if she was constantly laying hands on me, that would have stuck with me as well.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think you could forget that. That also causes what? PTSD.
Yeah, all of that shit.
Yeah.
Toxic relationships in general. Like, I mean, are toxic relationships abusive, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay. And those types of relationships, 100%, absolutely are traumatizing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
they cause drama.
it does, because and then when you get into another relationship and you bring that to that relationship, communication plays a big part. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, so communication plays a big part. Like, I know with me, it was hard for me to, like, still is hard for me to communicate. I shut down.
Yeah.
Like, anytime we get into, like, a little tiff, like, I just shut down. I don't communicate. I like to walk away.
Yeah.
Where you're like, let's talk about it right now. We got to do it.
Yeah, I'm very head on.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I never used to be like that.
Really?
Well, it's not true.